a Sunkissed Thursday edition. Merely Bo in the Great Z. How you living, buddy?
Better than yesterday. Better than I was yesterday. Got to give a shout out to my guy Paco over at the repair center, giving me great advice, great service.
Great advice.
For real.
The people don't even know what this is about.
I'm just saying, my car's
Like you
in a
come
bad
on,
way.
we drop a Paco,
and I'm
we
better
drop
Paco.
we're in a better place because of Paco. No one
We
even
are.
knows the point of reference on this.
Are we in a
I
better
just
place
said-
than 24 hours ago? I'm not quite sure.
Well,
I'm doing just
I'm feeling
fine. I feel
great.
great
And
about
shout
things.
out to the people at Enterprise. So my car's in the shop.
Yeah.
And it's being worked on, which is wonderful, and it's all that's all taken care of. And I had to get a rental, obviously, and my first rental was a jalop.
I love that.
It was-
I was literally over the weekend when I saw you in it. No need to hurt feelings, but it was the most inappropriate vehicle for you that I've ever could possibly view you in.
Yeah.
And there was a moment over the weekend where I was sitting with my wife watching something, and I
you were
just
laughing.
started laughing.
I know.
So hard I was crying at the image of you. But you were into it too. Like you had a zest for it. Like you gave me a big one of these when I saw you. Like it was really exciting. It was really great. I did enjoy it.
The best was when security guy Jay saw me. He's like, "Oh,
That's right, Jay.
he's like,
Jay saw
what are you doing in that car?" It's like, I've been hard times, Jay.
Hard times, Jay.
Hard times. He's like, no. So anyway,
Yeah.
I decided. So yesterday I found out with the repairs they needed to get a part and some things that are going to take a little bit longer. So it's probably be another week, which is fine. They're taking great care of me there now. And again, shout out to Paco. So then I called the rental place, Enterprise in Solon, and I said, "Listen."
Come on, what are you doing?
I said, because they told me when I picked it up, they're like, "We're sorry. Like,
Yeah, there ain't
this
a whole
is
lot
all we
going on.
have.
This is it
right now at this
Sure.
moment. So, but you can
Yep.
always bring it back." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take you up on that." So I called up and I said, "Listen, this car smells like somebody smoked 8 million cigarettes in it."
I
and-
noticed
and
that a lot in
died."
the rental cars. That there's a consistent a lot of. I don't know anybody who smokes. I was thinking
Me
about
neither.
this. I don't know a single friend of mine who smokes.
Me neither.
Not one. Yet it feels like which that's a hell of a change from 20 years ago. And I also, and yet it feels like almost any rental car I get in, it's very clearly that it has been smoked in.
I mean, this one,
Yeah.
a billion packs.
Yeah.
Every seat was
Pall Mall.
Every seat was stained, and so when I got the car, they're like, "We're aware of the stains, but we've sanitized it."
Sure.
Great comfort right in the
Fantastic.
beginning. My kids are like, "This is awful."
Oh my God, I would have
They're
loved to see
so,
them. They'd
so
be
unhappy.
so excited.
And I'd gotten used to the smell, and then
Yeah.
every time they get in, they'd be like, "Oh," and Bryce would be like, So I call up and
Odd times.
and I'm like, "Listen, can't do it anymore." I said, "I got another week probably in
Sure.
this car. Can you
Help me.
can you swap
Let me
me
help
out?"
you.
Yeah, and I think his name's Dan, so shout out Dan.
Good
at
job,
Enterprise.
Dan.
He's like, "Yeah, no problem." He's like, I think I got a car you'll like."
Okay.
Cool. Show up. Give him my car. He goes, "Yeah, that's yours over there." It is a brand new
Okay.
2023
Okay.
Jeep Gladiator, which is
Oh, that's
basically a Wrangler with like
Yeah,
truck-
with the trunk. Or the back
yeah,
end.
the
Yeah,
flatbed.
Flatbed, yeah, sure. Box on the back of it.
that had 30 miles on it.
I wonder, that does not seem like a rental car.
So great, not my problem.
No, but like usually a pickup is, because it's essentially a pickup, like that's not something that usually is a rental car.
Agreed.
Fantastic win for you.
So I said, how in the world
Yeah.
could you charge somebody the same price to rent this and this? And the guy goes, "To be honest with you, I think that's the worst car I've ever seen. That came from another place. Sorry."
Who knows? Yeah.
But now I got this. I picked the kids up. Everybody's hooting and
excited.
hollering.
Yeah.
We were wishing we were just sad though because the top comes off.
Oh, you almost have it. You can do
Close.
it today.
I
High
don't know about
40s, son.
High 40s, and is it?
Yeah.
It was like 30 this morning when I walked in.
Yeah, when I took Buddy Garrity out for his walk this morning, it kind of hit you because it was in the 60s when I took him out last night.
Yeah, and then now
this
not.
morning around 6:30, it was much more
Freezing.
brisk. But I could tell a clear sky was coming, and so now we have an orb, something where you don't see much this time of year. And as I came over this afternoon rather, it was in the high 40s.
Okay, so maybe
it's a very livable.
It's possible.
This is what we continue to live here by choice. This
We
time
do.
of year, when you have a day like this, I think
celebrate
if you
it.
have a convertible, there was a guy on a motorcycle flying by as I walked in here today. So it's time to get out and live a little bit. So take the top off, baby.
Enjoy. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think with the wind chill, it might still be a little cold. But you mentioned seeing the sun. Gibbe, how great was it to see the sun in D.C. Like, I was thinking about that for that game.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather.
Mhm.
Like, it had been weeks since we'd seen the sun here.
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, it didn't exist for weeks.
Weeks.
It was awesome.
It
And
was.
like it was I didn't even pack a winter coat. I had like
No.
a skull cap for nighttime.
What was it still?
But like
Wasn't it still like 60?
It was 60. Yeah.
60 some? Yeah, it
yeah,
was 60
beautiful.
here.
I mean, the forecast this Sunday is pretty good too. 42.
Is that where
Sunny
we're at?
skies, low clouds.
Yeah.
Beautiful for some big time football. But anyway, I'm doing great. I do want you to know that the people are interested in Buddy Garrity updates. What's happening with Buddy and Bootsy? What's the deal?
And by people on Twitter, one on Twitter.
What happened now?
Somebody on Twitter just wanted to get a full Buddy Garrity update and want to know how Bootsy and Buddy Garrity are getting along.
Oh, they've rebounded. We've got the nipping under control. He doesn't nip anymore. Sorted that out with some simple action commands, and that's all done. So
and then
that's
rank
good.
the house. You're the alpha, obviously.
Yeah, and I would say the blonde is right next. And then, I mean, the Buddy Garrity situation has affected the ranking of the boys and their alphaness because of he tends to allow more space to those bigger. So the oldest certainly, and then Beamsy, and then Bootsy would definitely be maybe a rung above Buddy in Buddy's mind. But really feels like could be an equal.
Which has got to be hard for Bootsy, who
It is.
believes that he has no equals in the world.
It is. However, there was something. I'm just gonna play this for you. This was the gift from his mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, his grandma, to him for Christmas. I'll just play that for you.
To Bootsy the Bold?
Yeah. That's right.
My favorite part about this is that he is the last person who needs the head earphones. It's everybody else. Who
Everybody
needs
else
them.
needs noise canceling.
So it's a drum set,
That's right.
and he is going to town.
That's right. He's like John Bonham.
He's pounding the skins there.
Yeah. No, Mike.
I mean, it's unreal.
Who got him the drum set?
My mother-in-law.
Is it at their
said-
house?
Oh, I said that.
No, it's in his room.
He unwraps it. I go, really?
That's got to be discussed.
I said, this is going at your place, right? Like I got enough. We got a dog. I got enough, right?
Yeah.
And then my mother-in-law goes, well, your wife said that's what he wanted. Come again?
Oh,
I feel like that's a.
there'll be a
Hold
conversation,
on.
all right.
That
So
remind,
I said, but Amy, I said, honey, why would we want this? Like,
we don't want this.
and she goes, well, I thought that they would get him like a small, like a drum. And I said, well, then tell him that he wanted a bongo. Like, we don't need this operation.
Cymbals, 2 of them,
Oh, he's
and he's crushing the cymbals.
so excited about it.
This feels to me like one of my favorite scenes in The Elf is when he finally gets brought back to Jimmy Kahn's house,
Yeah.
and the mom is like loving him, and
Yeah.
he's like, I think we could go talk in the kitchen. Like, I feel like that's what you had to do. Like, I think we need to go.
Can we maybe discuss
Does that
this?
work out for you in the kitchen? Yeah.
So I go,
What are you doing?
What are we
What are we doing?
What are we doing here? Where are we going to put this thing? And
I mean, the zest that he's playing. He's got his mouth agape.
he's
He
so
is-
excited. At all hours. I mean, he loves it. He's
So
beating
he's
on him
playing
constantly.
this every day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now his birthday was Sunday, Saturday. So it's not like we've had it for a long time. But
Not even a week.
not even a week. But he does have a vigor for it. There's no question.
Is he attempting to play songs, or is it just all free form, make as much noise as possible?
I think in his mind, when you possess the brilliance that he believes that he possesses, that he needs no guidance.
no sheet music, no guidance, nothing.
he's just beating the hell out of it.
no track to
Yeah.
try to.
Guess who had to put it together? You're looking at him.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. That's what I did on Sunday. It took me 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, it was the description. The pamphlet was about 6 pages, and it assumed that you knew many musical terms that I did not. Like I didn't know several of the terms that are
Like a hi hat.
There's one.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Then there's the cymbals that crush, like
Yep.
where he hits the thing.
Yeah.
He's got
Got
those.
the pedal
Yeah.
Oh, he's got two pedals. He's got a bass drum
Bass
pedal,
drum pedal for sure.
and then a pedal here.
for the
He's
cymbal.
got a snare drum, and then these guys, and then a cymbal up there that he's got. Yeah, and so I had to build the drums, like to tune them. I mean, it was insane.
Is this in his bedroom?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's in his bedroom.
Are there hours that he may not use the set?
He's been decent, but I mean, he was this morning. He was. She set him up to go get in the shower, and no, was not. He was getting right into it. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go, but that happened. So to answer your question, all thriving.
I mean, I gotta tell you, the fact that a drum set was purchased without your knowledge,
That's right. Yeah.
and that the order for said drum set came from within your walls.
I just don't understand.
It's stunning.
When I talked to my wife after everyone had left, I just said, I don't know that you thought that through. And she goes, well, I thought they'd get him a little kid drum set. I said, I don't even know what that even means. What is a little
gonna
kid drum
make
set?
noise.
It's all still drums, right?
Where
that's
did
what
he get into
I go,
drums?
oh, dude, I don't know. Who knows?
How does that happen?
I have no idea. Well, my older one did that like 3-4 years ago. He's like, they're like, well, what do you want from Gigi and Papa for Christmas or for your birthday? And he goes, a guitar. So he got a guitar. So there's a guitar upstairs.
All right,
Oh,
how
your
long
little
did
band.
How
Half
long
like
Played a little
Hanson.
band here, buddy.
How long
like
did
Hanson.
that last?
Oh, 4 lessons.
Okay.
I took him to 4 lessons.
So
and
this-
then in between the lessons, did nothing.
You know what you should
Went and
show
shot
them?
hoops.
You know what you should show them? What you really should get them, and this is, I'm going to throw this out there. I think this could help you.
Yeah,
Rock Band for the video for Xbox.
of course.
And then they can do all this stuff where it's not really making noise. They're doing it together. It's playing a video game.
Yeah.
The drums you hit, but it doesn't make the noise of those drums.
Yeah.
And it's all great
But
songs
could
and
it
music that you want to
encourage
listen to.
Right.
and lead to more musical instruments being purchased?
They're from my loins, so no.
Right.
I have no musical talent.
Gotcha. Sorry.
My Nani and Nano used to always had a well, I don't even know what the term is. That's how uninclined I am. But
Yeah.
there's a grand piano, but then there's like a grand piano that's also like a straight up and down grand piano.
Like to just sit against a wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's still a grand piano,
yeah.
even though it's not the grand piano.
yeah, the big boy, yeah.
So they had one of those, and obviously when my grandparents passed, they were like, "Do you guys want that?" And no.
What am I going to do
What
with
do
it?
with that?
Put it
I'm
in
not
the
tickling
basement?
the ivories, brother.
I wish I could.
I wish I could.
I don't have that ability. That's it. I got nothing. Great scene.
Great scene.
I miss that that Toy Store. We were watching Home Alone 2, and he's in the toy store in that one too. Why am I blanking on that? The one right off of Central
FAO
Park.
Schwartz.
FAO
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Oh, yeah.
I was in it with Peyton when he was little.
Is it gone now?
It's gone. Yeah, it's been gone for a while. Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Sad
One of the greatest experiences
for a
for a
Child or an
or
adult.
or an adult. Yes,
Yeah.
everything that you would ever want was in that place.
No
It
doubt.
was just tremendous. And there's apparently no market for it anymore.
I just feel like, are toys on like a downturn?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have 3 boys, 11, 9, 7. Not one of them asked for a toy.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. They play
And you
video
think-
games or sports. That's it.
Well, the video games are just so good, and you can
They're
play,
too good, and
and you can play
yeah.
with people elsewhere.
Yeah, and it's funny though. Like we got them all Legos too, and they all really got into that over the break. Like they all put them all together, and were like excited about that. Now Bootsy's I ended up doing because honestly,
Come on.
who's
It's
really
probably like this.
2 nights ago, he goes, I'm making dinner. He goes, you know how they are? They're by bags, bag 1, 2, 3, and you do not open a bag until this bag is
Done.
full. Otherwise, chaos ensues. There's one bag left on the Darth Vader fighter ship that he has. It's
TIE
that one.
fighter, yeah.
Thank you. That thing. So I'm building that thing.
Vaders.
I got to finish the last wing, and I'm like, don't open it. It's the 5th bag. Like, just don't, please. I'm in the middle of this. Don't. And he goes, no, I didn't do it. I won't lose any pieces, Dad. I'm like, no. I'm telling you,
Done.
I'm not putting that thing together tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Nice try.
All right.
Because his TIE fighter wings have like the tips on the end, right? It's like
Yeah.
a TIE interceptor, really, is what it
There's
is.
a
but it's
lot
Vader's.
going on.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And
It's a
the
lot going on.
Low one. It's
right.
the low.
And one wing has to be like the other wing, and then,
well, yeah,
as you know, with Lego, every piece matters. Like you can't lose one.
yeah.
So, yeah, I put it together.
You're doing a lot. Bo the Builder. Forget Bob the Builder. Bo the
Raising
Builder.
dogs and humans and drummers and
Drums.
everything else. How about the Hoff? I was curious if you guys think of this as
One more step, baby.
Let me. Do you think it is news that he is a finalist, or is it news that he is not? That would have been the shocking news.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people be like, Joe Thomas is a Hall of Fame finalist. Well, yeah.
I wrote duh.
Yeah.
That's
we've
literally
been,
my
we've been
tweet.
calling him the Hoff for 5 years
Yeah.
because it was just a matter of time until he goes in and gets gold jacketed. He is I don't know. I don't know if even sometimes I wonder if people here have a full appreciation for the way that he is viewed in the league.
You know how I know they don't? I'll tell you how. Because today it was announced that Joel Bitonio won the Pro Football Writers Association of America, the Pro Football Writers of America Joe Thomas Award, which is the Player of the Year given to the Cleveland Brown by the local writers, the Pro Football Writers of America, who believe was the best player on the Browns that year.
Given annually to the team's MVP.
Okay. I'd like to pose a question to you.
All right.
Joe Thomas, 10 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
10 Pro Bowls,
That's right.
6 first-team All-Pros.
Yep.
How many times do you think he won this award on the Cleveland Browns in his
Oh,
career?
don't do this to me.
In his career.
Don't
Because
do
the
this
answer
to
should
me.
be 10.
Don't do this to me.
Take a guess.
This is before my time.
Right, so take a guess. Out of 10
The
seasons.
way that you're phrasing it, I know that it's
he
bad.
He wouldn't have won it his rookie year because we won 10 games like Derek Ant. Like he wouldn't have won it his rookie year.
He should have won it the next 9.
Yes.
Yeah, you can make that.
All right.
argument.
I mean, if
could
you're
make
first,
the case.
for first team All Pro 6, then that's all of those 6 years he should have won it. He was a first team All Pro. He's a singular best at a singular position in the league.
Yep.
So that's 6 times he should have won it. Knowing probably 3.
2 times. I just looked at this today and I was like, what in the world are we doing here? He was beaten out for the award in 2007 by Derek Anderson.
Okay.
In 2008, he was beaten out for the award by Shawn Rogers. In 2009, and perhaps Josh Cribbs in 2009 was also first-team All-Pro. Possibly he had a lot of return touchdowns. He was beaten out by Josh Cribbs. In 2010, Peyton Hillis won the award.
Won me a fantasy title, Peyton Hillis. Picked him up right on the first waiver.
In 2011, it was DeQuell Jackson.
Oh, my gosh.
And now, just for the record, we're going to start our run of 6. So Pro Bowl even as a rookie there, Gibbe. Even as a rookie Pro Bowler. He was second, by the way, in the Offensive Rookie of the Year voting. Second as a tackle.
Who won it?
I don't know. Let's see if I click on it, see if it gives
Come
me
at me with that
2007.
info.
2007, the Offensive Rookie of the Year was Adrian Peterson, who had 1,341 yards and 12 touchdowns. Second, though,
The Hoff.
was the Hoff, Joe Thomas. That's how ridiculous it was. He earned 7% of the vote, which is actually quite impressive. So he's going to be first-team All-Pro in 2009, and he loses that year, what did we say, to Josh Cribbs. 2008, he was Pro Bowl, second-team All-Pro. 2010, he is first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowl. He loses that year to Peyton Hillis. 11 to DeQuell Jackson. 12 to Phil Dawson. 13 to Josh Gordon. He was still first-team All-Pro. Josh Gordon led the league in receiving that year. Okay.
Yeah.
14, he wins it. So he doesn't win
Until 2014.
until 2014. 15, God bless him, they give it to Big Play Gare.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns.
All right. Come on.
16, they
Shawn
gave it to
Rogers,
Joe
DeQuell
again.
Jackson, all fine humans, but come on.
16, they give it to Joe again. So he wins it in his final season. And then in 17, he got hurt. Duke Johnson won it in 17.
Just a guy, according to some.
2018, Baker, 19, Chubb, 20, 21, Myles Garrett, 22, Joel Bitonio. I mean, it's just hard for me to get my head around the fact that he won this twice. They named the award after him.
Yeah.
And he won it twice.
So, yeah, I'll tell you, I think sometimes I saw some of the stuff on social even about it when he was a finalist last night. And by the way, Zach Thomas, a finalist too. He needs to get in. He's a 5-time first-team All-Pro. He's got to go in. It's ridiculous. He is more accomplished than Urlacher.
People
During the
don't
same
understand.
era, they don't understand how good he was.
Yeah, 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro. In addition to that, he was second in the Rookie of the Year voting in 96. He was third in Defensive Player of the Year in 98. And you mentioned the 5 first-team All-Pros. He also has 2 second-team All-Pros in there as well.
Yeah.
Stout.
Yeah. It's robust.
Yeah.
For Zach Thomas. So it'd be good if Zach and Joe went in together because I've got buddies of mine who know Zach well and claim that he and Joe same a certain character level.
They would.
High.
Yeah, they would enjoy. That would be a wonderful thing for everybody.
Yes. Yep. So, so when I saw it, it's like, it's not, that's nothing because he's it.
Of course he is.
He's going in. He played 10 seasons. He's an all-pro 8.
It's like putting out
6 of them first team. It's just ridiculous.
It's like putting out an announcement that 2 + 2 is indeed 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we know.
Got it.
We know what the Hoff is all about.
Thank you.
All right, in terms of back at practice today before the season finale against Pittsburgh on Sunday, Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett worked on the side for a second straight day. Jack Conklin, Ethan Posick, Drew Forbes, Isaiah Thomas on the field during a portion of practice open to reporters. Corey Bjorka is named AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Punter and kicker and returner have all been named this season at various times. I'll tell you what, and we got Guess the Lines today. Are we doing that today? Guess the Spread, is that today? You have that in?
I actually didn't have it in here because we're pretty jam-packed, but I can put it in tomorrow.
We got to find it. If it's today, tomorrow, I don't know when it's going to be. But I will tell you this.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough week for me.
It's because you don't know anyone's motivation.
Yeah.
As I'm going through who's practicing, who's not, I feel like our team is motivated to play well, to beat a rival team and to finish the season 8-9 and to knock them out, sweep them for the first time, not finish in the cellar of the North, like all of the things. None of these things are the playoffs, but they're all tangible.
Yes.
You have no idea how teams are going to approach this week. None. And you can see it reflected in the lines.
In the lines.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a nice hint for me, though.
So, you've done so well. I just wanted to but I don't know that is a hint other than for you to just expect
the expected.
Unexpected, because a lot of stuff makes 0 sense. Good job.
That was a good
out of you on that.
What a bomb we just hit right now.
Yeah. It's a lot going on. Lots going on there, kids. And good news on DeMar Hamlin as well.
Great news. Open his eyes. They said he is neurologically well. Yeah. Which I think was one of the big concerns, squeezing people's hands, and so
recognizing
big
family members. Yeah,
big news.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wonderful news.
So there's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milk Bones, the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. Coming up next, we will go around the NFL landscape. There's a lot to get to, including a lot going on the scheduling front about what could happen or could not happen in the Bills Bengals game that could affect the scheduling going forward.
Sounds like not happening now.
It still feels like there's a lot. There's still one thing floated out there that I want to get to and see if it, because we have not seen anything locked in yet on that. So those are among the things we will get to. Pretty loaded up. It's a matchup day. We'll do that as well. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Brown's Therapy's got some Bootsy drum stuff going on that's really quite strong.
Where does he have that one with the shades?
Oh, that's when he was in the back of my car on the way to baseball practice.
I love it.
I think I put on Instagram or something. I play real sports, not trying to be the best at exercising. Something like that.
It's great.
Yeah, I think that's where that's from. Very good stuff there. So we talked about this earlier, and the best news around the league is in the Bills with this statement this morning for the physicians caring for Damar Hamlin at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Damar has shown improvement over the last 24 hours. While still critically ill, he has demonstrated what appears to be neurologically intact. His lungs continue to heal. He's making steady progress. Grateful for the love and support we have received. That's from the Bills. And then Rappaport this morning also talked about him opening his eyes and squeezing the hands of loved ones and stuff of that nature. The GoFundMe for his mom's daycare for the toys was $2,500 goal. It's $7 million. So this is,
I think isn't it over 10 now?
Is it now 10? It was 7 this morning. I haven't checked it.
No,
don't know.
It goes up rapidly.
Yeah.
Incredible outpouring, obviously. Damar's father, Mario, spoke with the Bills team on a Zoom call yesterday, told them of the son's progress per Schefter. It's probably not a coincidence that Schefter was on shortly after this came out, meaning the NFL was waiting for some good news before they could make a decision on this. Yep. And Schefter was out within the last hour or so saying kind of where the plan sits for now, and the plan sits for it not to be played. And winning percentage, but then there's also this going on about the one seed would choose either a bye or home field.
Yep.
So what's tricky about that is wouldn't you take the bye? You would take the bye.
Of course, play one fewer game because they
play
could
one
lose.
less game. And by the way, if the Bills were to lose, you would still host the Bengals.
Yes.
In a championship game if you're Kansas City.
Yes.
So. Feels like that's what you would do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So
take the bye. One less game you have to play.
One less game. One less chance. Yeah. Come on.
This from Mike Florio literally in the last 20 minutes. Bills-Bengals most likely will not be played, as we just mentioned. The best bad solution in this regard would be to play the NFC wildcard round in Bills-Bengals next weekend, with the AFC wildcard round being played the following weekend.
I saw that last week. Or yesterday. They said that yesterday.
The question then becomes seeding. There is a thought in league circles they might add an 8th playoff team from the AFC and the NFC, and no buys, and away we go.
Why would you do that?
Well, then we would be potentially eligible, right, if we won and everybody lost ahead of us?
There are concerns about equity given that the winner of the Bills-Bengals game would have been in position to be one of the top AFC seeds.
Equity.
And they're worried about the percentage if you just go off of percentage.
What's it have to do with the NFC, though?
It doesn't have anything to do with the NFC.
To ensure competitive balance, there would be 8 teams in the NFC, too. The NFL Players Association would have to agree to a temporary expansion of the playoff field.
Hold on a second right now. Just for fun. We're doing this out. Browns Daily. We're doing it for fun. I'm pretty sure, and I might be wrong, but playoff picture, I'm pretty sure we are in the AFC. Us, Cincinnati, and the Jets. So I think we would need.
We don't have any of the tiebreakers.
I was going to say, we still don't own any tiebreakers.
None of that.
That's the problem then. So we couldn't get in because if the Jets beat Miami,
they're 8-9.
They are 8-9. We would be 8-9, and they would have a better conference record than us. So we would be out.
And they beat us head-to-head.
So we can't. We're out. Yeah. Even if they add the extra team. Now, it says the Jets are out if they add the extra team, which is interesting. But, okay, sad. All right. I was excited.
It's fun for a minute.
Not even.
Yeah, I don't know why they would go to all that.
Gosh, if we had beaten the
Oh, come on.
If we had beaten the Jets, if we just won that game, we're in this.
You know what? This was my thought at 4 o'clock in the morning because that's when I seem to be waking up these days.
That's fun. That's good time.
I don't really know. But I go back to the conversation right at the start of the year. We needed to be 3-1 or 4-0.
Yeah,
we went 2-2, and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was done.
That's
it. It was
done
early. Yeah,
it was done. The fact that you didn't win one of the Now, it's not totally done because if we'd beaten the Saints, we'd still be in this spot. But you wanted to win those AFC games. The fact that we didn't win one of the Jets, Falcons, Chargers in that 3-week period that we went 1-3 there was that was it. That was it.
Yeah. That's the operation there. I don't know why they would do that. The 8th team I don't understand. I don't know why they would do I don't know why you would do the AFC doesn't have a bye week, but the NFC does have a bye week, because that's what would happen too. The NFC would have a bye week.
So that doesn't seem to be getting as much traction.
Yeah, because if you play Bengals-Bills next week by itself and the NFC plays its wild card, then all the NFC teams, the NFC champion will have a bye before the Super Bowl and the AFC wouldn't. You can't have that.
No, the way that I think you're talking about if they do.
Like, let's say they played just Bengals-Bills next week and the NFC played the wild card round.
Yep.
Then the NFC plays out the rest of its playoffs.
So what would happen is then the following week would just be the AFC playoffs and the NFC be off completely. So there'd be a bye between for the NFC, and they'd match up then divisional
and then it would all match up.
Super Bowl.
So they would do it the second week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd buy right there, and then just the AFC. I mean, from a TV standpoint, you'd
be
still
pretty
get
good. Yeah,
you're still going to get good games, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, you would eliminate if you had an 8th team. That way, no one, the whole number 1 seed, number 2 seed.
But like you can't. I don't know that you can
I don't
change
know that.
that.
You can do that
at
now.
Week 18.
Can you?
Right.
I mean, I know that they can do whatever they want, but like it changes everything. It would change. It changed the way you'd coach the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
You know, I don't know. That
like the
seems...
Commanders have already announced they're starting Sam Howell. I'd have to imagine the Commanders would be in an 8-team scenario back potentially in the mix, right? They're out
I'm pulling it up right now. So right now the 8, I mean, it would be Pittsburgh and Miami are both 8-8. So New England, 2 of the 3 of New England, Miami, Pittsburgh, and the Jets would be in at the. I mean, would be the 8 and 7 in the 8, and in the AFC, in the NFC rather, I guess Seattle would be in with a win, and the winner of Green Bay Detroit would be in at 8-9 or 9-8 rather.
Well, Green Bay's in if they win.
Correct,
yeah.
But I'm saying they both would be in.
With
both Seattle and Green Bay would be in
with wins,
and then so what? The 8 seed would be Seattle would play Philly. Still have San Francisco in the
which is ridiculous. Niners Packers. That's an awful first round game.
Yes, well, it's too good. Is
too
the problem? Good. Yeah. In the AFC, it would be. I mean, Kansas City would theoretically, as it stood right now, would play Miami in the 1-8.
And that sounds like Slumptown.
Yeah. There's a couple headlines in that one.
Yeah. Didn't Miami beat them earlier?
Kansas City?
Or did Kansas City beat them by was that the game they? No, they'd won every game to it started. Didn't they beat Miami beat the Bills early?
I didn't even know that I don't remember them playing Kansas City.
The Bills played Kansas City. But
Bills did. Dolphins did not.
Dolphins did not.
No.
Okay.
Bills beat them 24-20. Kansas City's 3 losses at Indy.
What am I thinking of? 20-17. Was that
Indy? No. Kansas City lost 20-17 to Indy.
Yeah, week 3.
I'm talking
Bills,
Dolphins.
And then the Bengals. They lost the Bengals. So the Chiefs are 0-2 against the other 2 teams in the AFC that most people think can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They've lost to both the Bengals and the Bills.
It must be the Bills-Dolphins. Must have been the 2017 game I'm thinking of early in the year.
They lost 27-15 to the Bengals.
21-19.
They lost to the Bengals, the Jets, and the Vikings consecutively when Tua was out. Then they won 5 in a row, and now they've lost 5 in a row. Niners, Chargers, Bills, Packers, Pats. That's where they are.
Did you say that they lost to the Jets and the Vikings consecutively?
That's right.
So did the Bills.
Did they really?
The Bills lost to the Jets in Week 9, 20-17. They lost to the Vikings 33-30 in overtime, and then they have now won 6 in a row. Yeah, Lions, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, Browns, Lions, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, Bears, Bengals.
Week 5 and 6, Jets and Vikings losses for the Dolphins.
That's just odd.
Yeah. NFL television partners are again eyeing Rams head coach Sean McVay as a possible game or studio analyst for 2023, according to Front Office Sports. Why didn't he just leave last year?
I bet he wishes. He said that he has been very, very humbled by this season, which I'm guessing if he's a competitor, you don't go out on a season like this. You want to at least come back and prove your mettle.
Can they?
And then,
I mean, their roster problems are pretty finite.
They seem pretty finite. Yeah, they do. Gibbe, is there? Hold on, let me look through this. So, don't do anything wrong. Okay, no, there's also another around the league thing we should bring up. Harbaugh was asked about Lamar Jackson's playoff availability, and basically was like, we're not talking about that.
I'm telling you.
He sidestepped the question. I think he could be done.
Didn't I ask that yesterday when we were doing?
I thought he would play in the
thought?
playoffs.
Yep.
Like
I thought he'd play in the playoffs. But
I don't know.
He's done
I
there.
think he's done there. I think it's done. I think he's done playing. I think he's not going to wear the uniform. I think it's in play.
I don't understand how his heel's never on the ground. I don't get it.
He's an incredible toe walker.
It's unreal.
The calves have got to be supreme. Yeah.
Scotty Monaco has the best calves I've ever seen. Majority of them.
Does he
The
work,
Cleveland
or
Cavs.
are they natural?
Natural?
Put in the work.
I don't know. I don't know if he's doing calf raises, but I mean his calves are insane. Like if you saw them, you'd be like, "This is the craziest thing I've ever seen."
God bless him.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah. Elite.
Yeah, the Lamar stuff is pretty dicey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very dicey.
He refused to talk about it, which is to me that's pretty damning, right? I mean, in terms of you think about where their relationship is at.
Here's a 1-for-1, and I'm sure the money doesn't work or anything, but Lamar for Carr.
I don't know that the Ravens would be interested. I mean, you don't have.
Well, they can't get Carr long term, or they can't get Lamar signed long term anyway. So he's going to be gone as soon as he can. You can franchise him a couple of times, then he's out. Theoretically, you'd have Carr for the next 5 to 10.
If they what?
If you wanted him.
It would be hard. You already.
They're ready-made. Like, they've got everything else. They're good at backs. They're good defense. They got good receivers when they're healthy.
Who? The Ravens?
Well, Bateman. Bateman will be nice when he gets in there. Just hasn't been healthy.
Okay. And who else?
Andrews.
Okay.
So you got 2 good receiving options. You can run it.
I think part of the reason you can run it so effectively is because of Lamar.
Yeah.
And Huntley and what the quarterback does in the running game. Like, they don't have just a straight run game.
Well, I think Dobbins is
awful.
that. They have the worst injury luck. It's worse than ours.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I mean, no one could stay healthy over there on the
Guys
offensive
missed
side.
the last 2 Decembers.
Yeah.
Starting quarterback, franchise quarterback.
Right.
Yeesh.
Well, you look at him, and then you look at Fields. Like, Fields is banged up and has not been the same since his shoulder was hurt.
Yeah, you can't.
Like,
play that way.
you can't run for 1,000 yards.
No.
Like, it just doesn't work as a quarterback. There are too many. Those plays end too often with you being hit.
And they end with you being hit violently at full speed.
At speed.
That's the real issue. It's not a step and you run into a line at a yard off the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
It's 20 yards downfield or 12 and someone with a full head of steam.
Yeah.
And you can't survive that way in the league. But this will be interesting on this. 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel saying he will not play Sunday's game against the Cardinals unless he's 100% ready to go. What do the Niners have to play for in that game?
I don't know if
because here's a hint for you. Here's a hint for you. The line makes it seem like they have a lot to play for.
Okay. So they must have seating. By the way, just this came in while we were talking right now. Dr. Timothy Pritz of UC Health on Damar Hamlin, quote, "He's made substantial improvement. It appears his neurological condition and function is intact. We are very proud to report that. This marks a really good turning point in his ongoing care." So that is from the hospital.
Yeah, they're holding a presser right now. The NFLPA will meet with the media later on today.
I got to tell you something. What the people did on that field, and even in talking to some of our doctors today, because I bumped into them, is what is expected. Yeah, but it is nothing short of remarkable under the circumstance. You can drill for these things all you want and prepare for these things all you want, but when it's actually you're out there in that life and death moment, and the EMS people that were on site, everybody absolutely crushed it. Because I've seen a couple doctors say now is the fact that it's gone like this. It wasn't just the comocorditis. Yeah, there was something else that affected his lung. There was a lot happened in terms of the trauma there, and so it's great that he's done that. But you got to tip the cap to everybody involved in saving this young man's life.
Can San Francisco get the number 1 seed if Philly loses?
So maybe that's it.
They're a game back.
Maybe Philly loses, San Francisco could be the one because it makes it seem like they will be supremely motivated.
Or can Dallas get the 1 then? Can Dallas win?
Well, Dallas for sure can because they play them.
This has to be written on a document.
Can
somewhere.
Philly go from 1 to
Why is this
5?
so hard? Like this, I feel like we could have Googled a playoff scenario thing and had this all.
Maybe,
but
I don't know.
The Eagles have clinched playoffs. The Niners clinched division. Eagles have not clinched their division, so they could end up losing the division if they lose and Dallas wins. They would lose on the divisional tiebreaker. They're 3-2 in the division.
They play the Giants. Dallas plays Washington.
Yep. So the Niners, Yes, the Niners would have if the Niners win, they have the conference tiebreaker over everybody. So because they're 9-2, they would be 10-2 in conference, 6-0 in the division. They would be the 1 seed. So yes,
Okay. So that's why
that's what it is.
That's why that is the way that it is.
Here we go.
Philly needs that bye week to get Hurts healthy.
Is he playing this week? Hurts, or are they going Minshew Mania again?
Hurts is supposedly
going to give it a go.
So we'll see, but
Yeah, we'll see.
That's the idea.
All right. We will do the matchup. Our offense versus the Steelers defense coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Season, they'll have you covered at Howard Hanna. Every day is game day. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. And now let's head to the podium. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt.
You're down.
From the first half to the second half last week.
Execution, I think, is the biggest thing. Guys made plays in the second half. Our third down conversion, our efficiency continued. We ran the ball well, in the second half. We ran it well in the first half too. We just have a lot of cracks at it. But that was the biggest thing. We went in the locker room. It was kind of a strange locker room. It was very quiet, which was different, But challenged the guys to come out and play their best football in the second half, and they did. Really did everything we wanted to do in that second half until we put on the brakes.
Factors, with Deshaun coming back and everything, but just, I guess, does it at least give you a good feeling that you got a taste of what he is going to be able to bring to this offense when you big picture wise, when you look at that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's a dynamic, explosive player that can make plays with his legs and his arm, and he showed that, in the second half. So that's what we were expecting. Yeah, moving forward, we saw glimpses of it throughout the course of his time back, but now we got a whole half of it. We're playing at a high level.
TJ Watt, since he's been back, and do you think that you might have James Hudson going this week?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes down the stretch here. Jack's health, we'll see. Whoever's in there, regardless, he's a guy that you have to obviously be aware of and spend extra attention and extra time with and help in protection. We understand that. There are plays where we're not going to be able to do that based on situation where we just got to stand up and block them. But obviously, an extremely talented player in both phases of defense, run and pass. Really good defensive front. You go on to Cam's playing at a high level like he always does, and Highsmith on the other edge gives us a challenge on both edges in pass protection and run game.
Obviously, James had some struggles at the end of last year facing TJ. What do you think he could gain from just having that experience?
That alone, just the experience of going against him, studying how he, what his plan was against James, how he can counter that. We got to help him at the same time. We were deep in the pocket last year at times, and it made it tougher for James. So being where we're supposed to be, things like that. But James is a year older. He's been through the training of, Bill and Scott for another year, and we expect James to play better than he played last year if he does play.
What kind of season has Jed McWills had?
Jed's gotten better. He's definitely gotten better. Fundamentally, I think his pass protection's gotten better. His run game, he's improved. There's a guy that just has continued to do good work each year, and has gotten better since he's gotten here.
Nick Chubb is averaging 7 yards a carry. How does that help you guys open up the offense for Deshaun Watson, and how can he build on that elsewhere?
Yeah, well, obviously it would start with the run action, play actions off of those runs that are generating the production. We started there, hit a couple of those. Didn't have the down the field throws off the play action last week, but did a great job at the quarterback position of taking what was there. We dropped a couple short to Harrison in the flats on those run action type of plays, but gives you the keeper game as well off of the runs. I thought that we ran the ball extremely well. Nick's ability to break tackles and carry defenders for extra yards is impressive. I know he's on the close of having one of his best years as a runner, and really, you ask Nick to do something and it gets done. That's the thing about Nick. You make a correction in a meeting, it shows up immediately on the practice field or in a walkthrough. So he's just a true pro through and through, and really happy for the year he's had.
Mark's got a chance to set a career high. So
87 yards, 81 yards, 87, 81 yards.
80 yards.
Yeah, I know.
So what does that say, given how good a career he's had, and just do you think that means anything to him?
Yeah, I think it does. It means something to me. I want to see these guys hit their personal bests. That's important to me. I think it's important to Kevin. These guys put all the work in. Why not have their best years when we have the ability to capture those? So aware of where he's at, aware of where Nick's at. David needs some catches to be there as well, and that's in the forefront of my mind at least. They deserve it.
Have you gotten everything done you wanted to with Deshaun? I understand we need to win games and all that, but there was the evaluation period getting ready for the offseason for next year. Do you think you got most everything done you wanted to?
We're close. I think we're close. I think he'd be the first to tell you some of the footwork and the rhythm and timing, and we're not 100% there yet, but we've gotten a lot better since we started, for sure. Really impressed with his improvement each week. Kind of knew that going in. It was going to be a little rough early to start until he got his football legs back, and what we're expecting from him moving forward.
A big turnaround defensively from early in the season to the last, whatever it is, 6 or 7 games. How much of that is TJ, and what else are they doing at a high level where the numbers are that drastically?
Yeah, I mean, adding that player back into the mix is a big part of it for sure. They've gotten some different packages as of late versus some bigger groupings. They're playing a lot of the
Back in 30.
making it tougher to run the football on. They're doing good things. They've always been sound in their scheme, and they've always been disciplined. It's tough to run on them on the edges. It's tough up the middle. That's a good, solid defense for sure. And then you get Fitzpatrick in the back end, who's a high variance player. You're not sure exactly where he's going to be or how he's going to play from play to play. So difficult defense to get ready for. We've had success in certain areas. I think the biggest area for us is staying in manageable down and distance throughout the course of the game, and then converting on short third downs like we did last time.
You're up.
All right, time for the matchup. Our offense versus the Steelers' defense. Dr. Z.
All right, this is a very good defense, especially now that T.J. Watt is back. Listen to the differences with and without T.J. Watt.
I have
Bo.
my pen. I'm writing them down.
With T.J. Watt,
Okay.
7-2. Without T.J. Watt, 1-6.
Jeez.
With T.J. Watt, they give up 17.2 points per game. Without T.J. Watt, they give up 25.3. With T.J. Watt this year, they've given up 287 yards per game. Without T.J. Watt, they've given up 390 yards per game.
Okay.
Hold on. 9 games with T.J. Watt, they have 25 sacks. 7 games without him, they have 8. 9 games with T.J. Watt, they have 16 takeaways. 7 games without him, they have 5. He's the most important defensive player in the league by a wide margin.
I don't know that you even need to. I mean, that is stunning.
100
is
yards.
Is that even more? That's like a quarterback impact.
That's like
Mahomes
or Lamar's 10 points for the Ravens.
Yeah.
But this is 100 yards. This is 3x sacks, 3x takeaways, and 8 points over a touchdown. He's worth over a touchdown.
And this isn't a small sample size. This is a big sample size in the same year.
Yeah.
9 with, 7 without.
Since he returned in week 10. Okay, so
that's stunning. I never would have thought the discrepancy was that big.
Let me give you this.
I didn't think there's a defensive player in the league who would have a discrepancy that big.
Let me give you this.
Please.
For the season,
all right,
Steelers 14th in total defense, which is yards per game, 11th in scoring defense. They are, let's see if they have third downs, 17th in third downs. Okay, so those are the 3 that I have both.
Yeah.
Since T.J. Watt has returned in week 10, they are 4th in points per game, 16.9. First in yards per game, 268.6. Opponent passer rating, 78.2. That's second. Third down percentage, 34.1. That's fifth.
Man.
They have allowed 17 or fewer points in 6 straight games, the longest streak for the Steelers since 2004. If it's 7 straight games, it'll be the first time since 2001. Since week 12, they're giving up just 14.7 points per game. And by the way, in 9 games against the Browns, he has 14.5 sacks in 9 games against the Browns, which is the second most in the NFL versus one opponent since Cam Jordan, other than Cam Jordan, who has 15 versus Atlanta since the start of the 2017 season. He hasn't played against us twice.
Before you never would have guessed. I mean, the difference is so large.
It's insane.
Yeah. For a defensive player, I didn't think that was possible.
Insane.
Yeah.
Cam Jordan, 6.5 sacks in 9 games with T.J. Watt, 2 sacks in the 7 games without him.
Jeez.
They're very good. So anyway, when you see them on the field, what you're going to see, basically a lot of the middle field close, 2/3 of the time middle field close. That's a cover 1. That's a cover 3. Single high safety. It's often Minkah Fitzpatrick, who leads the NFL with 6 interceptions. They are playing more cover 2 than they did earlier in the year, 16.2%. So if they are in a 2 deep, it is likely to be cover 2. Only 2.3% quarters. That is 31st in the league. It's either going to be cover 2 or cover 6, which is half of the field is cover 4, half the field is cover 2. They will blitz 33%, 7th most in the league. They don't play a ton of nickel. They play a decent amount of dime. Still 50% nickel, but that's 30th in the league. They play 17.4% dime. That's 9th most in the league. This is a very good defense. You talk about up front. They'll hit you with that 5-man front that's got, Hayward, Ogunjobi, Montravius Adams, or Tyson Alualu. And then on the outsides, you got T.J. Watt and Highsmith. Highsmith has 12 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, which leads the NFL. He's got 4.5 sacks versus Cleveland in his career, 3.5 in the last 2 games. He had 1.5 week 3 without Watt. Their linebackers are led by Miles Jack and Devin Bush, but neither have played much now. That's because Bush, I think, has been benched for Robert Spillane. Miles Jack was hurt, limited with a groin, got hurt against Las Vegas, but he leads a team with 100 tackles. Last week, Mark Robinson, their 7th rounder out of Ole Miss, started. And so if that's something that I think the Browns would attack, certainly in coverage if that happens again. Back end, 2 corners on the outside, Levi Wallace, Cam Sutton, both playing well. Both have 3 interceptions on the season, both giving up under 60% completions. Their slot, you can attack him a little bit. Arthur Mallett, 70% completions, 106 rating. The 2 safeties, Minka Fitzpatrick, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time AP, first-team All-Pro. He's got 6 interceptions, as I said, this year. It leads the NFL. Terrell Edmonds has none. He's the liability in coverage, 65%, 131 rating. That's who the Browns have to attack. And then DeMonte KZ is the dime for them. But 3-4 defense, and they will get after the quarterback. They are tough to run on. They run blitz a lot. Nick Chubb back in week 3. J.K. Dobbins week 14. Only 2 running backs who have run for more than 100 yards against them. Wide receivers, they've given up only 2 wide receiver touchdowns in their last 5 games. No 100-yard receiver in 6 straight. No quarterback has thrown for 250 or multiple touchdowns in 6 straight. The last was Joe Burrow, week 11. And it wouldn't surprise you that Jamar Chase was the last 100-yard receiver. That was week 11 also. They've not allowed a quarterback to rush for a touchdown all season. They are very, very good. Now, you could say, Nathan, those numbers are very impressive. Who have they played in this stretch? Indy, Atlanta, Baltimore, Carolina, Vegas, Baltimore, twice without Lamar Jackson. So it's not exactly like they played.
It's a murder, not a murderer's row.
No, of quarterbacks. But they have won 5 of those 6 games. The only one they lost was Baltimore. Kenny Pickett did not start and finish that game. That was he got knocked out after the first play.
All right, there you go. We go one-on-one with Chase Winovich coming up next, and
fun.
we'll flip it. We'll do the Browns defense versus the Steelers offense, also better or worse. Second hour up next, just the Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet here in Ohio now. Nathan Zagura, very happy to be joined by a great friend of the program, Chase Winovich. Chase, first of all, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's great to join you, Mr. Dragon, and just having fun.
All right, so today is January 4th when we are talking now. Do you believe that you can still say Happy New Year to somebody today, or do you subscribe to the Larry David theory that on January 3rd, that's it, a hard cut?
Oh, January 3rd? I think there's a little more wiggle room than January 3rd. I think a bigger question is it New Year or New Year's? You know, the logical part of my brain says, listen, it's a new year, not years.
Agreed.
However, I hear people say years, and it does have there's something to it.
So I think like it is Happy New Year,
Sure.
but you could say like Happy New Year's because the years is maybe implying you're saying Happy New Year's celebration, Happy New Year's party, Happy New Year's enjoyment to you.
Context.
Yes, right. The context of it. Context matters.
Yeah, context always matters. That's something that we lose in today's society, I think.
No doubt. That is long gone. It is very black and white on things that are often quite gray. But let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about your sack. 5.5 sacks your first year in the league. 5.5 sacks your second year. Last year, you're banged up a little bit. This year, every time you've been close, you got hurt again. Then you finally got to come back and get in the groove, and you've been close, and then you finally came through and got that. What did that mean to you?
I mean, it meant so much to me to have my family in the stands watching, and just to enjoy that moment with them made it all the more special next to my teammates, and they've been talking about for a while, like, we got to get you one, and obviously I felt the same, and I'm just really thankful to get that one.
What happened on that play in your mind? Like, what was kind of your pre-snap setup, and then how did it come to be?
So we had a stunt. I was going inside and looking at the tackle. I could tell based off the film study and just like the way his feet were that he was going to be blocking down based off the slide. So I knew that I was like, I'm going to have to beat this guy. And my logic was like, I'm going to beat his hands and use my footwork to get around him. At that point, I saw the running back, saw the quarterback, and big angle guy. It's like if there's a running back in my way, then obviously it changes my move. But he was to the right, so I was like, yeah, this guy's not going to stop me. And it just went by, grabbed him, around the shoulder pads, around the waist, and I just knew the cavalry were coming. The rest of the guys, they were going to pounce on him as quickly as possible. So I knew I had to get him down quick. And so
and that's because you want to make sure you got a full sack and not just a half a sack. I like that.
Sure, yeah. Exactly. The details. So, I'm a competitor.
Context matters.
It is what it is. I'm a competitor. It's like to each their own. But that one, I was trying to get him down as quickly as possible. So almost like an alligator wrestle. I just dropped all my weight and took him down. So it was pretty fun.
When you think about everything you've been through the last 2 years, battling the injuries, you get traded here, and you look so promising, and then you had the setbacks. Did that mean more to you maybe than any sack that you've had in the league?
Yeah, it definitely meant a lot to me. I think when you compare, you always have less. However, when you have to work really hard for something, it definitely makes that experience a lot more special. And I faced some adversity. I got traded here. Just from like all the relationships that I had built, it's like you're out of the tribe. You're in a new tribe now, and then you even going back to last year, just like I've had over the course of my career pretty few injuries, I'd say, but it's just like sometimes players experience stretches where it's just like they can't seem to get healthy, but I just kept going. And maybe it was that Serbian in me, maybe it was the way I was raised. The coal miners in Pittsburgh and steel workers, just like I knew I couldn't stop, and my work's far from finished, but it feels good to have some sort of validation. It's like it's not a trophy of any sorts, but just felt great to finally, have something and say, listen, like I put all this work in, and finally I got something to show for it. And like I said, though, work's far from finished. I got a big week this week, going back to my hometown, going against the Steelers. It's going to be a fun matchup and a fun game.
So where does this like for you in terms of opponents? Like, were you a huge Steelers fan growing up?
I mean, I was always more of a rebel, to be honest. Like,
that does not surprise me.
Yeah. I like always beat to my own drum. It just is what it is. One time, a Steelers player came to our elementary school, and they were playing the Colts that week. So I hung my Peyton Manning jersey in my locker. Like I said, just to be a rebel, I don't really hate on the Steelers. Like, they're
You weren't going to be on their bandwagon just because you were from there.
Exactly. I wasn't gonna be on their bandwagon. Except like I did support them. I had a bunch of Steelers jerseys, so it was just being a kid, and so it's a big game for me though. Nonetheless, I'm gonna have a lot of family there, and just going to go out there and do what I always do, have fun, and see what happens.
You talked about context earlier, and the context around this game is, number one, you have an opportunity to knock them out of the playoffs. Number two, you have an opportunity to sweep the Steelers, something the Browns have not done since 1988. So there's a lot to this game, in addition to your homecoming, which obviously is probably right at the top.
Yeah, sure. There's definitely a lot riding on it, and I had spoke on this earlier in a different interview, but contractually, I'm not technically obligated to want to win this game and to try to knock them out of the playoffs. But as a Cleveland Brown, it definitely is a motivating factor, and I'm sure there's a lot of pride on the line as well. So we're just going to go out there, like I said, play hard and see what happens.
When we've seen this, and you mentioned earlier your sack came on a stunt, it feels like with you and Jadeveon and Miles, when we have the three of you healthy, we're running a lot of games up front, and they seem to be working a lot. Is that fun, and have you enjoyed seeing what this was always supposed to be, right, with you coming in here to join those two guys? You've missed some time, Jadeveon's missed some time, Miles has even missed some time to finally have that all going together.
Yeah, it was a great experience, all of us being out there together, something I definitely look forward to, and I really enjoy just playing alongside those guys. They're, they're so talented. Even before I got here, I watched a lot of film of both of them, but especially Jadeveon, just the way he moves and the way he sets up his pass rushes. It's, he's obviously a tremendous player, and to play next to those guys is a huge privilege for me. For them to take the attention away from me and, cause chaos with them is really fun. And I look forward to some more of it this week.
Yeah, I look forward to it as well. It's going to be a lot of fun going against a rookie quarterback who played at Pitt and Kenny Pickett. What have you kind of seen from him? And then their tackles have been good for the most part, but have also struggled at times last week. Couple sacks given up from the tackles.
Yeah, I think they got a great team. They've been doing really well this second half of the season. Kenny presents a lot of problems just with his mobility, the fact that he's so acquainted to that field, having played at Pitt. And some people are just gamers. Some people just, it's like you could talk about intangibles like throwing arm or this or that, like any like random thing. However, some people just like when the lights come on, it's just they know how to make plays and help their team win. And Kenny's one of those guys. So it's like he's, like I said, presents a lot of problems, but I think we're up for the challenge, and I'm excited to find out.
Of course you're up for the challenge. I'm excited to find out as well. All right, let's talk about something that's maybe not as pleasant but was still entertaining as hell. Michigan TCU, insane game. It was like a video game at times. What were your emotions watching that, going back and forth? Oh, man, we got a chance now, and then unfortunately falling a little short.
Yeah, it was extremely frustrating for me watching that game because there's so many points
too many points allowed, right?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of points allowed, but also a lot of times we were just shooting ourselves in the foot. It's like there's a quote. It's like you can't win until you keep from losing, and it's like you can get away with small things here or there. Everyone makes mistakes. Like no one plays a perfect game, but it's like when you have it collectively across the board on on several phases, it makes it a lot more difficult. And it just was what it was. I'm really proud of those guys. It's like it stinks when, I think that there's something to be said for people remember the beginning and they remember the end. It's like everything in between is kind of like, whatever. But
the journey was great.
The journey was great. And I mean that sincerely. It's like those guys had one heck of a season, one of the best Michigan teams of all time. And they shouldn't, hold anything negatively in their hearts because that was a heck of a year.
Do you still get emotional like watching those games where you're a very passionate guy where you like locked in this screen? Like I can imagine watching a game with you. I feel like it'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I was definitely locked in at one point whenever I thought the game was over and they were talking about it being a targeting call or I was going crazy. I was just so excited. I was like, that's targeting. I was fired up. I got my trainer's face who went to TCU and he was laughing and it was a good time. I had a blast out. I mean, I'm just known as like the Michigan guy at this point. I'm always hyping the guys up. I'm always talking smack to the other guys, the Big Ten or our opponents are. So they anytime Michigan does something that maybe falls short or isn't looking too good, everyone's quick to comment in the group chat or hit me up and just remind me of it. And it's like, okay, man, I get it.
Is DPJ as vocal as you are about this, or is he more the quiet, like he'll kind of stand behind you and bow up a little bit as your second?
Yeah, he's quiet, but he definitely has my back. Like there's been times I've been arguing with different players, just talking about how Michigan and their season and
back in 30,
and he'll walk up and he'll be like, "Hey, you need me? Like this chest real firm, and it's like, no, I'm good, bro. I got it. I'll handle."
Yep.
But he's there, and he's definitely a staunch supporter of Michigan as well.
Absolutely. Chase, always a pleasure. Congrats on the first sack. Ringing in 2023 in style. Happy New Year, Happy New Year's, whatever. Happy New Year's sack. We can say that. We certainly can. Chase Winovich, always a pleasure, man. Best of luck against the Steelers.
Thank you so much. 23, why not me? See you guys.
And we'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily right after this.
OBM, the official printer partner of your Cleveland Browns. When you depend on the Browns to win, you can always depend on OBM. They'll tackle any size office at 216-485-2000 or OhioBusinessMachines.com. Now let's head to the podium. Defensive coordinator Joe Woods.
The Buffalo Bills have some really encouraging news about Damar Hamlin, that he's made remarkable improvement over the past 24 hours, that he's neurologically intact, and that, his lungs are improving. So, with everybody here yesterday being so upset and, just so focused in on the well-being of Damar Hamlin, how do you think this news will hit today, you guys?
I definitely think it's positive. That was a very scary situation for a lot of people. It's a violent game we play, but you don't ever want to see something like that happen. I know some of the coaches on their staff, so I reached out to them. So it's good to hear that he is doing better, and hopefully he makes a full recovery. But again, that's just something that's hard to deal with that you don't want to see happen on the football field.
And did you, kind of have to rally your players a little bit to be able to just kind of set that aside and go out and try to do their jobs yesterday, or?
Kevin addressed the whole team, and he took care of it. They have an opportunity to speak to somebody if they have problems, one of our psychologists. But I didn't address it past that. I think the guys are fine with it as far as I know.
Joe, obviously Grant had a couple of big picks Sunday and the one against New Orleans. What kind of progress has he made from the beginning of the season, where whether or not it's his fault, he felt like he was around a lot of the bad big plays that were happening, versus how he's playing right now?
I think for all young guys, the more you play, the more reps you get. That's more exposure. And I think through the season, he had his struggles early, but I think he's gained confidence with the plays that he's made. I feel like he's becoming more of a leader of the secondary. You can see it. And for him, I just thought it was a matter of time. I watched him when he came. I watched every play when he came out of college this last year, and you could see it. That was in him. I think he was really recovering from the injury, and he didn't know how healthy he was. So I think that slowed him down a little bit. But again, as the season's been progressing, he's been making more plays, and you can see the confidence coming out of him.
What do you see him as a run defender, as far as, I know he's always in there. How solid of a tackler is he? How willing is he to be in there?
He's good. That's one of the things that we talk about. We're trying to put him down in the box more, just with the different schemes we're running. But he's tackled a lot better down in the box and in the open field, and that's definitely a bonus for us. There's some things we're going to do with him this week as well.
Hey, Joe, you guys have given up 10 fewer touchdown passes than you did after 17 games last year, but 7 more rushing touchdowns. So how would you explain that?
Yeah, I did not know that. I think everybody knows we struggle with the run game this year. So giving up more touchdowns, because of that, makes sense. I feel like our guys in the secondary, it's another year those guys together. The communication has gotten better throughout the season. I feel like we have guys that can match up, against other top receivers. So that's why I think we're playing better from a pass standpoint. And obviously, again, just the run game, we have to get better.
Second straight year where, down the stretch, your unit has shown marked improvement in play. The critics will say, well, where was that in the first half of the season? What is just, from your perspective, what is your, response to that? That, you good in the second half, but you have those struggles early in the season?
I think it goes back to when you have some new players. I think when you put the scheme together, you're really trying to figure out what they do well, what works for you defensively, and week in and week out, you're playing different teams, different schemes. And I think that was big for us this year. There were some things that we were doing that we weren't having a lot of success with, that we had success with in the past. And I think we had to adjust, and I think we did that. And again, halfway through the season, I think we're playing better.
Back in 5.
The amount of games that we wanted to, but I do feel like we started playing better defensively.
All right, there you go. They certainly have been playing better defensively. Joe Woods' unit. Browns defense, Steelers offense. Brought to you by Evolve Technology. Evolve Technology partners best-in-class security for your Cleveland Browns. I will say this about this Pittsburgh offense. It was clutch when it's needed to be, but there's a lot of ugly in there too.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of ugly, but you mentioned the clutch, back-to-back games with game-winning drives and fourth-quarter comebacks. He's got 4 game-winning drives on the season, does Pickett, 3 fourth-quarter comebacks. Only quarterback taken in the first round this year, 6-5 as a starter on the season, but he's won his last 4 full games. The team as a unit, 6-2 in their last 8 since the bye week. Pickett on the season, 64% completion, 2,209 yards, 6 touchdowns, 9 picks, 76 rating. He can also run, though, 236 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the last 7 games, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Now, the Steelers, their 11 passing touchdowns, that is fewest in the NFL. Again, fewest in the NFL, 6.1 yards per attempt for Pickett. That is last in the NFL as well. What have they done? What has changed? Well, they're playing great defense. We talked about that, but they have become significantly more committed to the run. In fact, since their Week 8 bye, and at the time they went to their bye, they were 2-6. They have been 6-2 since then. They have changed things. Since Week 8, Their rushing attack, 146 yards a game, 8th in the NFL. Attempts per game, 33, 4th in the NFL. Touchdowns, 10, 8th in the NFL. First downs via the rush, 85, 3rd in the NFL. In fact, Najee Harris since week 8 bye, 2nd in the NFL in rush attempts, 3rd in the NFL in rushing yards, 9th in the NFL in rushing touchdowns. He's kind of become the centerpiece. I didn't realize this. Only Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs have more than 2,100 rushing yards and 650 receiving yards since the start of the 2021 season. Najee is 46 yards away from a second straight 1,000-yard rushing season. He is a touchdown away from a second straight season with 10 or more total touchdowns. So that's kind of where they are on offense. They have 3 players over 700 yards receiving. Deontay Johnson, 84 catches, 844 yards, leads the team. No touchdowns, though, on the season. George Pickens, 49 catches, 729, and 3 touchdowns. That leads the team, tied with Najee, who has 3 receiving touchdowns as well. And then Freiermuth, 63, 732, and 2 touchdowns. Freiermuth is 6th among all tight ends in receptions and receiving yards. That's kind of who they are on offense. They will run it. Jaylen Warren has been a nice surprise for them, an undrafted free agent out of Oklahoma State. Last week had a season high in rush attempts, rushing yards, and total yards. He had 12 carries, 76 yards, and 22 receiving, so 98 total. He's a compliment there. But that's who they are. They didn't have a touchdown last week until the game-winning drive. No. They are not an explosive offense. It's about their defense. And for the Browns, you're playing well. Obviously, Myles Garrett. He's got 15 sacks on the season, needs 1.5 to break his franchise record, get to 16.5. You got Delpit now with a career year.
Delpit's coming, man.
103 tackles leads the team, 4 interceptions leads the team. Denzel's playing well, MJ Emerson playing well, Greg playing well. Our back end, John Johnson playing well as well. He's 6 tackles away from his 3rd 100-tackle season of his career. Chase, who we just heard from, got his sack, and you get him going. So it's an advantage for our defense. I think we should be able to shut them down. It's just can we score enough? And look, Washington have been a very good defense as well, and we got it going. If we can continue that momentum, beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh, end their season, have another nice offensive performance, I think people are going to feel really good about this Cleveland Browns team. And I think it's a good matchup. I like the way our defense matches up. We can cover all of their receivers. We need to be good against the run, just like we were against Washington. Washington tried to run the ball against us. We held up well. Early downs, that'll be key. Get them into 3rd and longs. We can get after them and get some pressure on this quarterback.
Pop quiz. How many 100-yard rushing games does Najee Harris have this season?
1 last week.
Good job out of you. Well prepared.
Well, yeah, I better get
Let me ask you this. How many over 90?
That I did not write down, but I think it's only a couple. I think it's the last 2 weeks.
3. He's only got 3 over 90. 111 against Baltimore. Then he had 99 against New Orleans and 90 against Cincinnati.
Okay, yeah.
3 games this
Nick
season.
Chubb has 10 of those over
Correct.
90.
Yeah.
Leads the NFL.
There's only one. He's twice this season. He's averaged over 5 yards a carry last time out, and then he had 86 yards on 17 carries against Atlanta. It's
a slog.
He's
he's 3.8
he takes
for the season.
A ton of hits as soon as he's getting the ball. Lots of 8-man boxes. Not much to fear in the passing game.
Warren, though, has a little juice. Warren's averaging about 5 yards a carry for the season. Najee's 3.8, to your point. Yeah, it's not a lot of excitement in terms of, and not a lot of big offensive stats.
No.
That's not where they're at. Now, Najee is an accumulator, to your point, because he touches it so dang much. But he's, this season, he's going to finish the year over probably 1,200 total yards, maybe 10 touchdowns, scoring 3 of the last 4. Hopefully we can keep him out of the end zone, but he did score against us in that first matchup. In that first one, Najee 15 for 56, and a touchdown, 3 catches, 5 yards.
It feels like he's catching it less, too, this year as opposed to last, at least in my head. I don't know if he is or not, but it feels like they're not doing much.
There's no doubt, because if you think about that fact I gave you about over 2,100 rushing yards and 650 receiving yards over the last 2 seasons.
Last year he was 74 for 467. Ben dumped it to him all the time.
Yeah, he's 219 this year.
This year he's 219 on 40.
Right, so double basically last year.
Yeah. Lots more touches for him a year ago across the board. There's nothing quite like tailgating touchdowns and Twisted Tea. It tastes just like real iced tea. You know why? Because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, 5% kick of alcohol. It's thirst down and goal. Twisted Tea, hard iced tea. Keep it twisted. We'll do a little better or worse coming up next. Bishop and Friends, or rather, Cleveland Browns Daily, right here on The Fan.
Also on ESPN Cleveland.
Sorry, my head's spinning. Cause you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. AP is here.
Oh, baby.
What's up, guys?
One more winning mix.
The final winning mix comes this week.
This is it?
That's it.
This is very exciting.
That smile is very big.
I just want to I want to take a second.
Bathe in it.
Yeah, thank everybody who's ever read the winning mix.
Yep.
Appreciate you. It's been
I will say,
labor
a good
of love
run.
I've
for a
asked
while.
Mr. Glancy to put it back into the sales package for next year.
That's fine.
That's fine.
It can be sold.
I learn something
Written
every
by Zagura.
time I read the winning mix. Just so you know, Nathan. And I'm not making that up.
That's how I feel every day, 1 to 3.
I'm sure.
Same way.
That makes me
Lies.
very happy to hear you,
You,
say
sir,
that.
live on a bed of lies.
AP.
It's also true.
And what's fun is that I think that, as we move into a more of a, a social era, digital era, that in my game previews, you'll get to that same knowledge on your handheld device. It'll be right there for you.
It's all there for you.
It's going to be beautiful. Right? And you'll get to hear the
You can
dulcet
do the
tones
digital
with
version
it
of
as
the
well.
winning
Yeah.
mix.
I
Yes,
do
but-
that. It's called the
but
game
there are
preview.
still
Everything that's in the
people-
winning
It's all
mix is all
there.
there.
It's
There
all
are
there.
still people that like to read.
Wonderful.
Are there?
Words still.
Wonderful.
Are there?
I think on a lot of the now on a lot of these social media platforms, when you talk, it says it puts the words so somebody could read it. If they're listening to it without volume, they could read it right there. Yeah, as well. Listen, I love your medium. I think it's a great medium. I think you're tremendous at it. I'm advocating for you to get more people to help you.
Thank you.
More
I'm
humans.
just more humans for you. I'd like to have
But
the
you-
AP Army.
How much have you
I like that.
discussed winning mix when I'm not here on the show? Have you-
in a positive light?
Well, anyway.
Well, at one point we were hoping that there would be some sort of just a recording and then a typing out of what is said.
Yeah, we tried to get Stevie on it. But
Get a little bit of that,
didn't
and where
work.
there's
That
just
was
that.
not for
That'd
you
be
to
good.
do.
That still could work,
yeah.
just so you know.
That would.
If that's what it is, as long as I don't have to do this, I'm
Win.
in.
Then
If I
it's
can,
a
if
win.
I can orate the winning
Didn't it
mix,
take you
dictate-
like 10, 15 minutes maybe on the plane to do
Focusing
it?
on all the
I
wrong
mean,
details.
While we were waiting
I
for
took
the
a
plane to
hate-
take
hold
off.
on. I was behind him,
His-
and I was taking pictures and sending
Don't
them
use
to
my
everybody on
prowess
the plane.
against
of
His
Zagura writing the
competence
winning mix.
cannot be used against
Thank
him.
you. Yeah. Thank
This
you for
isn't a
that.
matter of is he good at it. Of course he's good at it.
On
It's just
trial again.
how many things can he be good at?
How many days a week do I have to be on trial on my own program?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's
Feels
a
like
hell
way
of
too many.
Well, you won yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to go to if you were going to make a different ruling, I was going to go to. There was one more fact I didn't even need to use. That
Keep
would've
it in your
been-
back pocket.
Yeah,
It could
I had
come
it.
up again.
I didn't need it at all.
Well, on behalf of the digital team, if it is the last one, thank you for
You're welcome.
your service.
That's all you need.
I love you.
Some
That's
too.
beautiful.
A big TY every once in a
It's-
while.
It's beautiful.
Hey, thanks. Good effort. Good
Yeah.
job out of you.
Mhm.
That's all you need.
I will say this.
Yep.
When, not if, when we go to the playoffs, if you need to oh my God, that's Hulk Hogan's music. I'll write
fantastic idea.
mixes for the playoffs.
The winning playoff.
Back in the
Yeah.
mix.
I'll come back for the playoffs.
I like
I
it.
love it.
Yeah, 100%.
No
problem with that.
Gibbe is here too. It is better or worse. It is higher or lower. It's presented by Keep It Fun Ohio from the Ohio Lottery.
Keep it fun.
Who reminds you to know the risks before you gamble. Hello, Gibbe.
Hi, boys.
And there are many.
Many.
There are many risks,
Boy,
apparently.
boy, are they.
When you gamble.
Watch yourself.
All right.
It is higher or lower. Week 18 presented by Keep It Fun Ohio from the Ohio Lottery.
I'm crying right now. Okay.
Because it's done winning mix.
Yeah, it's joy.
Yeah, that's
Joy
what it is. That's what it is.
Pure joy.
This week's Power Poll compliments of the ESPN NFL Nation crew. Should the following teams be higher, lower, or just right?
All right.
Hit it, Paulus.
Higher or lower?
All right, at number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, Buffalo. Number 3 is San Francisco. Number 4 is Dallas. And it takes us to number 5. And the Philadelphia Eagles. Anthony Poisal, higher, lower, or just
Not even
right?
starting with the Browns?
No.
We're in the 20s every week.
We shouldn't be. We're not at.
We should be better
We're
than
not.
that now.
I thought we were gonna start
Although,
Hold on.
we did lose to New Orleans, and they're rated behind us.
Oh, hold on.
this.
Hold on. In
I'm
the
not. I'm not
only
even looking. We're looking at the teams that are going to the playoffs.
in the only 100% correct, zero mistakes NFL Power Rankings brought to us by Kevin Cole, the lead data scientist at Pro Football Focus.
Okay.
Wow.
The Cleveland Browns. Here, are you ready for it?
Yes.
We'll count it down from number 1. We'll see how long it might.
Right.
This might take a while,
Okay.
or it might not.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs 1, Eagles 2, Bills 3, Niners 4, Bengals 5, Cowboys 6, Packers 7, Cleveland Browns 8.
Wow.
Really?
There you go.
For what?
Because we're good. We just blew it, man.
No. Like,
he
if
believes
you're not
that
going to the playoffs, you're out.
he believes right now we would beat all of the teams behind us.
I agree. There's a lot of talent on the team, but they're 7-9, and
he's got the Chargers.
Who said the quote? You are what your record says you are, or is? Yeah.
Not according to Kevin Cole. Vikings 21st.
That's a.
No, that's.
Is that crazy?
You know
though?
what?
No, I don't think that
There
is
might
that
be something to
crazy.
be said
They
about
are
that.
that. They
and
feasted
maybe
early.
And maybe we just jumped 2 spots this week after our dismantling of the commies.
Are we ready to talk about the Eagles?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Boys out, higher, lower, or
that was
just
fun.
right?
I like
It was that. That's interesting. Yeah, Eagles at 5. I think it's just right, and I think they'll be a much stronger team again once Hurts is back, which I think that's happening soon, right? So, I think it's pretty evident now more than any point in the season how important he was to them.
How many
right?
games have they lost?
3.
2 of them with Minshew.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
13-1.
He's back. We're
All right.
fine.
Hurts.
Here's my
Higher, better than the Cowboys.
But like his health is still. I mean, is he 100%? Like his health is still gonna be very
fine.
important.
I don't know. Assuming that he's
for
back,
the Eagles,
which I'm gonna do.
Yes.
Better.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
but he's not back yet.
Here's my question: has him missing the last 2 games actually helped his MVP candidacy?
No, Mahomes wins the MVP.
Yeah,
it shouldn't even be.
I think it's still Mahomes.
I mean, maybe T.J. Watt wins the MVP.
I mean, it's helped it, but
we
it's still gonna be
discussed
Mahomes.
earlier.
Yeah, it'll be Mahomes.
Yeah,
that's
Well,
the right
I mean,
call.
that's you and I both said that at the beginning of the year. I
It's
just
made
wonder
him-
if it has helped.
It's made him look more valuable. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's helped his MVP candidacy for this year. It's made his if that makes sense. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
By the way, after that power ranking, Kevin Cole, now my 3rd favorite Cole of all time. Cole, Kenneth, Kevin.
I like it.
What about Cole, my buddy Condon? He gave us the green hats.
Oh yeah, I like that guy.
Cole.
There
He's
is
on the Mount
on
Rushmore.
Mount
Coles.
Rushmore, 4th Cole.
There we go. Next, Bengals number 6, the Chargers number 7. It takes us to number 8, and the Vikings.
We're
Bishop,
not. Listen,
I'll let you take this.
I'm not. We're not doing Bengals daily. Okay, but for God's sakes, what do they got to do?
It pains you to say that. You'd love.
They've won 7 straight games. They have covered.
Isn't it 8?
Maybe it's 8. They've covered against the line. They're killing it.
Yeah, like
and
the Niners.
somehow, yeah, it's ridiculous. And they've beaten good teams. I mean, they beat
Yes.
Kansas City. They beat the Bucks with Brady. They beat the Patriots. They were the way it was trending. I liked their start against Buffalo.
It was a good start early. But
It's
yeah.
early, but good start.
Sure.
Cincinnati should be in the top 3.
Absolutely. Couldn't
It's
agree anymore.
nonsensical that they would be 6.
That they're barely
ridiculous.
Listen, and I'm a big Chargers guy. I think nobody wants to face the Chargers in the playoffs like
No.
that. Is a tough first round matchup for anybody. But yeah, the Bengals are elite right now.
Yes.
Yeah. The teams they're in the teams that can certainly win Super Bowl, and they're near the top of that. I mean, you can make the case and justifiably so they could be number 1.
Agreed.
You can't make the case that they're
There are
6.
5 teams on this list that, to me, if they won the Super Bowl, I would go. Well, actually, I don't even know if there's that many because can they really win it with Brock Purdy? Like that would be a hell of a story.
Could the
if
Patriots
San
have won it with
Francisco
young
done
Tom Brady?
I agree, but I mean that was quite the shock when that happened. Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Philly. Those 4 feel like, yeah, if one of them wins it, you go, makes sense.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Fair to Brock Purdy, he took a bunch of haymakers in that game where they kept
know.
scoring, and he kept leading them down
I know it.
to win.
I know it. So what did you ask me? Who was I
higher,
doing?
lower, just right.
lower.
Vikings. Lower.
We beat them.
Lower.
We beat the
Lower
Vikings today.
Yeah, they're not. I don't have
We
the
do.
Vikings as. I agree.
We beat
I don't
them.
think they're 8.
I'd be
Well,
laps. We're
I think
7 and 9, man.
right
I'd
now,
be so curious what the line would be for that game.
I'll tell you what. I think Green Bay is better than them right now.
Well, they
I think
just
the
beat 'em by a
Jaguars
billion.
Jaguars are better than them right now. It ain't right in Minnesota. It ain't.
Are the Lions better than them?
This is
Man.
a lot of trash for a 12-14 guys. I mean, I'm just gonna
11-0 in one-score games, unsustainable. They've been the doors blown off them. Look, I
Quizell.
like them too. It's look. Your triplets are great. Cousins, Jefferson.
They suck defensively.
You got Hawkinson. You got Cook. You got
They're
Thielen.
terrible defensively.
KJ Osborne,
Oh.
but defensively they are dreadful.
Good teams don't have 2 losses. They lost to the Cowboys 40-3. They lost to the Packers 41-17. Those are slumpings.
They're good. Don't get me. I'm not throwing them out of the top 10. Like they're better than the Ravens.
Okay.
But they're on thin ice.
They're not 21st.
Oh no. No, but they're not.
All right. Next up,
Higher or lower?
the Giants are number 9. Zagura, Ratbirds, number 10. Higher, lower, just right.
Out.
Get him out.
Get them out. I'm not ranking them. Trouble in paradise.
Pittsburgh just beat them.
They are as bad. What's their record? Isn't it like 10-5 or
10 and 6.
10-6? They're a bad 10-6.
Poisel, where is Lamar Jackson playing a year from now?
Jets.
I think he's still going to come back to Baltimore. I think the Ravens are going to franchise tag him if they can't.
Doesn't it feel like the
but
I think
but
they're ready to
my
push him.
certainty in that is way lower now than it was 10 days ago, or even a week ago. This week, very ominous with John Harbaugh whenever he's asked about him. I don't know what team he'd go to. I haven't necessarily thought that far ahead, but it's my certainty in the fact that he'll be back in Baltimore next year is obviously way lower than it was a week ago.
Have you guys looked at their schedule?
It's
Baltimore's?
super. Yeah, we talked about it last week.
It's a joke.
That's why they're 10-6. Yeah.
They beat Buffalo? That's week 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't think they're beating any playoff teams but
no.
With Lamar, they're capable of doing anything. Without Lamar, they are not capable.
I will say though, their top receivers right now are DeMarcus Robinson and
Yes.
Deshaun Jackson, and that's I know
Yeah,
Lamar
and
is
Duvernay,
Lamar,
sure.
and he's helped them keep them in games, but that's is that not the worst?
No, they would
receiver
have
in the
to.
league?
They could only win following a specific formula, which is they get up early, the defense gets a turnover, Lamar and J.K. Dobbins run it, and you hit some nice plays off of play action to Mark Andrews.
That's the model. Yeah.
That's it. But I mean, Lamar Jackson is worth 10 points a game to them.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, one final thing here. We've got about 30 seconds.
Higher or lower?
It's not even a higher or lower. This from Ross Tucker. What if Lovie Smith thinks he's going to get fired anyway, so he disobeys the code red and wins the game on Sunday?
So you're aware of what's at stake here. They win, they don't get the 1 seed. Chicago gets it. Chicago can then put the 1 seed, the 1 draft pick. Chicago will lose. They play play Minnesota.
They play
Peterman,
Peterman?
the Jay Peterman catalog. So you got that going for you, which is nice.
Bears host Vikings.
Bears lose. If he wins, like the fact that the Bears could get the number 1 overall draft pick and then auction that off for Bryce Young, Houston has to lose. Like they can't
Texans
screw
are at
around.
Colts.
They cannot screw
That's
around.
A winnable game.
Let me tell you something.
They can't screw around.
The Colts are awful.
I know, but you can't.
It's
make it so.
What if he ignores the code red?
Jeff Saturday.
I like Ross Tucker's comments.
Jeff Saturday. By the way, AP, as we mentioned reporting, they are not going to play that game. Pro Football Talk saying this was the precursor to the official NFL announcement that they will not resume the Bills and the Bengals.
There you go. Good job, AP.
Always
and
fun.
that AP.
Always fun.
Both.
Yeah.
Still so much more to come. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Fans, catch the Kevin Stefanski Show with Z and Gerard tonight, 7 to 8, University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Coach and Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper joined the program. They get you set for the finale against Pittsburgh on Sunday.
I think you're going to like that. Talk some good ball with Coach.
Like
Talk a good interview with Amari Cooper. I think people will very much like that.
I like it, too. I like that the next level.